All right, let's jump right in. Today we're talking about one of the biggest, most important challenges in all of AI, alignment. Making sure these super powerful models we're building are actually helpful partners and not, well, agents of chaos. The big question is, how do you teach a machine to share our values? Let's get into it. And yeah, this is really the heart of the matter, isn't it? I mean, you've got these large language models that have basically swallowed the entire internet. They're unbelievably knowledgeable. But all that knowledge, it's just raw. It's wild and uncontrolled. So the real trick is, how do we put some guardrails on that intelligence and steer it in a direction that's actually helpful and safe for us? Exactly. It's kind of like the AI's Wild West out there. Imagine a brilliant mind that has zero filter and absolutely no moral compass. That's a pre-trained AI model in a nutshell. And that, right there, is what we call the alignment problem. Without a sheriff in town, things can get pretty messy fast. So what does messy actually look like? Well, here are the big three problems. First, these models can spit out some seriously harmful or toxic stuff. That's a huge safety issue. Second, they can just not listen. You give them a clear instruction, and they do something completely different. And third, they can hallucinate, which is just a cool sci-fi term for making stuff up. And obviously, all three of these are massive deal breakers if you want to build an AI that anyone can actually trust. Okay, so we've got this problem. How did the experts first try to, tame this wild AI? They came up with a really clever technique that pretty much became the foundation for everything that came after it. It's called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or as you'll see it everywhere, RLHF. So what on earth is RLHF? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like you're training a puppy. Seriously. When your puppy sits, you give it a treat. Good boy. With AI, instead of treats, we have human reviewers who rate the AI's answers. If it gives a good, helpful answer, it gets a digital treat, a reward. If it gives a bad answer, no treat for you. You do this thousands and thousands of times, and eventually the AI learns what kinds of answers we humans actually like. Now let's break this down because there are three key steps here. Step one is something called supervised fine-tuning, or SFT. This is basically show and tell. We just show the model a bunch of really high-quality examples of good conversations to get it started. Then, step two, and this is important, we train a separate AI called a reward model. Its only job is to be a judge. It looks at two different answers from our main AI and decides, I think a human would prefer this one. Finally, step three, we use a complex algorithm called PPO. You can think of PPO as the coach. It takes the scores from the judge, that reward model, and uses them to gently push our main AI in the right direction. It makes these tiny, careful adjustments to help it get better without, totally messing it up. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. While RLHF was totally groundbreaking, it turns out it's a real monster to work with. I mean, you have this whole complicated three-step process, you're training this extra judge model, you're wrestling with this unstable PPO algorithm. It's just incredibly complex and super expensive. So as we look at it today, it's just too much for most people to handle. The industry needed something simpler, something better. And that something better has arrived. It's called DPO, which stands for Direct Preference Optimization. And this, right here, is the new gold standard in the industry. Why? Because it tackles the same alignment problem, but in a way that is so much more direct and, well, elegant. Just look at this comparison. It really tells the whole story. With the old way, RLHF, you're literally juggling multiple models at the same time. It eats up a ton of computing power, super resource intensive. But DPO does something incredibly clever. It completely gets rid of that separate reward model, that judge AI. Instead, it figures out how to use the main language model itself as the judge. And that one simple change makes the whole thing simpler, way more stable, and a whole lot cheaper to run. So how does it work its magic? It's a fundamental shift in thinking. Instead of training that separate judge to give out scores, DPO reframes the whole problem. It basically tells the model, hey, look at these two answers. This one is the winner, this one is the loser. Learn the difference. It's a classification problem. A better analogy might be, instead of hiring a critic to review a student's essay, you just give the student the answer key. It shows them directly what good looks like. It's a much more direct, much cleaner signal for the AI to learn from. And this is how it looks in the real world today. It's usually a multi-step recipe. First, you still do that initial show and tell, the supervised fine-tuning, with about 5,000 to 10,000 really good examples. Then,
comes the first layer of DPO, which is all about teaching the model to follow instructions properly. And once it's got that down, you run a second round of DPO. And this one is for the fine-tuning, making it safe and giving it a specific tone or personality.
Okay, so this all sounds great, right? We have a better, cheaper way to make AI behave. But there's no free lunch. This process comes with a hidden cost, a trade-off that everyone in this field is constantly wrestling with. They call it the alignment tax.
So what is this tax? Well, it's the price you pay for good behavior. When you really clamp down on a model and force it to be super safe or to adopt a very specific persona, you can accidentally end up dulling its brilliance. You can blunt its raw capabilities. Things like creativity, complex reasoning, even its ability to write good code can actually get worse.
Yeah, as one of the sources we looked at puts it, the model can become too cautious. It gets so focused on not breaking the rules that it loses that spark, that nuance and creativity that it had from its initial training. And let me tell you, figuring out how to get the good behavior without paying this massive tax, that's one of the biggest open challenges in AI alignment today. All right, so DPO is where we are right now. It's the industry standard, but this field moves at lightning speed. And it is absolutely not the end of the story. The very cutting edge is already looking ahead, trying to solve a really fundamental problem with the way we've been doing all of this.
So what's the problem even with DPO? Well, it's that it's an offline process. Think about it. We train the model on a fixed static dataset of human opinions. We give it the answer key, right? But what happens when the model has learned everything in that answer key? What happens when it's basically smarter than the data we're giving it? Well, it just stops improving. It hits a hard ceiling because there's nothing left for it to learn. And the solution to that ceiling is what's called online alignment. Now, this is cool. Imagine an AI that learns on the fly. It's getting feedback in real time, constantly. It might generate a couple of answers, and another AI, maybe a more powerful one, acts as a judge and instantly tells it which one was better. The model then updates itself right then and there. It's not a one-time training session. It's a continuous, never-ending loop of improvement. This is absolutely where the future is headed.
And this whole journey, this whole quest for a perfectly aligned AI brings us to a really deep kind of philosophical question at the end of the day. As we get better and better at this, from the old days of RLHF to this future of online DPO, are we actually teaching these machines to be good? Or are we just getting really, really good at teaching them how to pretend? Are we creating a true partner or just an incredibly convincing actor that knows all the right lines to say? That's the question that's going to stick with us for a long time. Thanks so much for joining me.